So I started watching the L Word, the new L Word. I never watched the original L Word. I think I was a child when it came out. I was either a child or I was a teenager. I wasn't watching TV back then. Back in the day, like before 2011, 2012. Before 2012, I wasn't really watching TV like that. Like I don't think I watched TV because I was in school. Like I was just about school and dance and sports and hanging out. Like I was never home to watch TV, and I was never interested in being home to watch. Like I wouldn't go home just to watch TV. Like I didn't care. Now I'm an adult and I'm lazy, I guess. Like I've done everything that I need to do. Like I got my bachelor, like I got my degrees, and I got my good job. Like I don't need to work that much anymore. So I don't need to really do so I got time to watch TV. I don't know, but I never had cable when I was little, cause when I was younger, cause I was poor. I didn't have HBO, and I don't think I was interested in watching L Word of all things. I think I was still watching cartoons when this came out. I don't know when the first one came out, but the new L Word called Generation Q or some shit. I started watching that on the 16th, and I watched one episode. And I was just like, I want to watch the next episode. I want to see what happens, but this first episode didn't really do it for me. Now, I mean, the acting wasn't all there. Now, I mean, well, acting wasn't all that good. Acting wasn't all that good. It wasn't a strong pilot. And I think the only reason I want to watch what happens is because I like the environment. Like, I like how bright it is. And it's because it's set in California. You have these people, these big ass houses, and these elaborate jobs, and these great relationships, or growing to be great relationships. And there's a conflict in it that I want to see what happens with it, where a politician is trying to do the right thing, where she's trying to work with a pharmaceutical company who sells illegal drugs and shit like that. And someone outed her for sleeping with somebody else's wife. And it was just like, okay, it's like a 50-50. Like 50% of me want to watch it, 50% of me don't. It's like there's half of it is like, I'm like, but I want to give it a chance. So I'm going to watch the next episode and see. But if the next episode ain't it, I'm not gonna continue. And then the next day, I watched Lucy in the Sky, finally. A movie that I was dreading, and like, people was telling me that it's fine, that I could watch it, whatever, but then other people was like, you can miss it, it's fine. I don't regret watching it. I'm not mad that I watched it. I just don't get why it was made. Like, what was the point you were trying to make? Like, people who go to space are sad when they come back home. Like, I just didn't get why'd you make this movie? Was it just for these aspect ratios? Because the film has like 52,000 aspect ratios, where all of a sudden the scene will change and the screen will move, and then all of a sudden there's black bars here, or there's black bars here, or half of the scene is black bars. And it's like, was that why you made the movie? So you could try out this aspect ratio feat that you wanted to just test out? Because I don't see anything else that's driving me back to this film. The story was kind of ridiculous. There was a character of a niece in the film that I was just like, what is your point? Like, what is your actual problem? Like, why are you here? Ellen Bernstein was in it, and I immediately got Interception vibes, because as soon as I saw her, I was like, are you the only old lady that they cast in space movies? Like, why are you always the one that's in the space movie? Then I watched Gang Related finally, which is Tupac's last film. I never seen it before. Always wanted to. It's on Prime, so I checked it out. Yeah, I didn't know it was like that, but that's because I never read into it. I didn't know that it was like that type of film. But I really enjoyed it. I'm just gonna spoil it because it came out 30 fucking years ago. So if you haven't seen it, you probably never will. Not 30, like 22 years ago. Yeah, 23 years ago it came out. In 97. I want to say that, what's her name? The actress that was in it. She was fucking gorgeous back in the day. God damn. She's not now, but she was bomb back then. She looked good in that movie. Tupac dies in the movie. And that made me sad, knowing that it was his last movie and there was a dedication to him at the end of the film, which made me sad. But I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was nice seeing Jim Belushi be a bad guy. He was a dirty cop. Him and Tupac were both dirty cops, so he was dirtier than Tupac. What's his name from Mixed-ish was in it, and I only recognized him because I watched Mixed-ish, because if I hadn't, I wouldn't have recognized him. But the grandfather from Mixed-ish, he's in it. And that other guy, the Latino guy with all the tattoos, he's also in it. He was cute. That was back when he had hair. I don't have much else to say about it, but I was surprised. I thought it was going to be a drag, because it's so old, but it wasn't. Not so old, like so old, but like so old that it was going to feel outdated. And it does at times feel outdated, but it was still entertaining. I don't regret watching it. Then I watched Lo and Behold by Hermit Wurzog. The guy that was in The Mandalorian that Gideon killed, the old white guy that wanted to buy Yoda. I forgot his name, but he has like that voice. He directed it, he narrated it. It's his documentary, and it's about the internet. That's the best I could put it. It's about the internet, and I wanted to see it. I didn't really learn that much from it. I just learned that the internet is taking over and machines are going to be taking over soon, and we rely on the internet, and it has good and bad. It has pros and cons. That's all I learned. And there's nothing really much to talk about it. Oh yeah, because the 17th was Friday night. Friday night I had myself a little film festival, a little short film festival. The first short film I watched was Brotherhood. What the hell was that about? Oh yeah, Brotherhood. I watched that on Vimeo. It's one of the short films that's nominated for an Oscar. And it's about these people in an African country. I believe they're in an African country or a Middle Eastern country. Either it's South Asian or African. South Asian or North African country. And they all have freckles on their faces. At first I was like, whoa, look at your complexions. They're all beautiful. It's about a young man who comes back to his family after being in the war on the rebellion side. And he left his family and came back with a wife who's pregnant, and there's an issue with the father. He didn't appreciate that his son left to go to a mindless war where he left his family, and he needed him because it's a small family. Obviously, they're a poor family. Well, they have to work to survive. And the mother only has her husband and her 3 sons. And the one big son left, and their other 2 sons. One of them is really small. So he can only help as much. He can't help that much. He can't do that much because he's small. So it was like, you just left. The father was like, you left your mother with your brothers and we needed you and stuff. So it's interesting. There's a climax at the end that really touched me, where I felt like really, like, you're really doing your son like this. Yeah, so it was a very simple, elegant, well-rounded story, and it had beautiful cinematography. Then I watched Nefta Football Club which was so great. It was so funny. And I recommend it. It's on YouTube. Watch it before the Oscars. Watch all of these before the Oscars. They're short. They're not, you know what I'm saying? It's going to take you 2 seconds. It was interesting because there was I really like that one. I really like that one. I'll tell you in a second which one I want to win after I tell you all the ones that I watched. Once again, this had beautiful cinematography. It had a somewhat comedic script. There were serious moments, but I believe it's a comedy. It's too funny not to be a comedy. It had really, really good acting. It had a very clever ending. The Oscar nomination is very well deserved. It had beautiful cinematography, and there's a callback, not a callback, but there is a reference to Adele and Adele's music in relation to a donkey, and it's so funny. And you should watch it just for that. But that ending, oh my God, that ending is reason why you should always be honest with children. Because they're children. They're way too innocent for you to lie to them. They're going to take what you say literally. You have to tell them the truth. It's really good. Watch it. It's on YouTube somewhere. The next one that I watched, I loved it. I was having a great Friday night short film festival, and I was very pleased that they were all available for streaming. They were all online for free, and it was great. I watched The Neighbor's Window. I love this. It's truly beautiful. The colors are astounding. The cinematography is wonderful, especially the wides. Oh my God, they showed New York City amazing, and New York City is not amazing. I mean, it is, but the way they show it, it's like, it's amazing. I mean, it is when you're high up. When you're up here on the 19th floor. When you're up here, it's nice. When you're down there, it's not. It's trash. Again, to speak about the cinematography, I love how close-ups are only used specifically to showcase emotion. Everything is done with purpose, and it's not showy, which obviously is something that you're not garnered to, because with a short film, you're limited for time. So I like how everything was put in place for a reason, which is why I always love short films, because they get and push the story and the message through quickly, and they get rid of all the nonsense. I love how cleverly and subtly they use set pieces, especially to display the passage of time, along with sharp cuts to black to show time has progressed. Because like I said, with short film, you're pressed for time. So you want to convey time has passed in a clever way. And the way they use set pieces to show, oh, now it's Christmas time, or now it's summertime, or now it's, you know what I'm saying? this is what was happening. They were just moving in, and now they're settled in, and this is what they use dialogue and set pieces to describe the passage of time perfectly, instead of just exposition, exposition, exposition. They show us it. They don't treat us like morons. Like, we could figure out it. We can figure out that it's October now. We can figure out that it's July now. You don't have to tell us it's July. So that was really good. As far as story goes, it's an excellent depiction of that old saying, the grass is always greener, and being thankful for what you have, because, you think it's nothing, but it's probably something that someone else wants. So then the next short film that I watched was A Sister, which is different from Sister. Sister is the animated one. A Sister is live action. And it's another one that's around 20 minutes. And it's also on YouTube. The French title is Un Soir, which is A Sister in French. And it's simple and effective. It's very intense as well. I advise you watch it on YouTube. I don't want to give it away, but it involves someone talking on the phone with their sister. And it turns out that there's a situation at hand that isn't put to the forefront. It's 20 minutes. There's no need for me to spoil it. Just go watch it. Like I said, it's on YouTube, and it has English subtitles if you can't speak French. So, yeah, it's simple and effective, and it's intense. That's all I gotta say. And it's well worth the nomination. And it was the last live action short that I saw, not the last one. There was one that's nominated that I didn't get to see, and it's driving through a war zone, learning how to skate through a war zone while beating a girl. I didn't get to see that one. I couldn't find it, but I saw 4 of the nominations. 4 out of the 5. The skateboard one was the only one I didn't get to see. Yeah, so out of Brotherhood, Nefta Football Club, The Neighbor's Window, and A Sister, out of those 4, my favorite, or I should say my favorites, because I have 2 favorites, were Nefta Football and The Neighbor's Window. And the one I think that should win, or actually, who I want to win is Nefta Football. I want them to win because it seemed like they put more effort into filming it. They filmed it in Tunisia, the North African country where everybody looks like my brother. It looks like they worked harder on it as far as filming in locations. There's multiple locations. As far as The Neighbor's Window, there's only one location. It's only the one apartment that they shoot in. As far as Nefta Football Club, they're shooting in the desert. They're shooting on the football field. They're shooting along the streets. They're shooting in different locations, and there's more actors. There's multiple actors. There's 2 child actors, and then there's 4 adult actors. But there's other child actors that don't talk, but there's children there, obviously, in the football club. And then there's an animal involved. They have to work with a donkey. And there's other things involved that I don't want to spoil. And it's a lot that happened. In Neighbor's Window, they work with 2 kids and a baby, and they don't talk or do anything. They just act like 2 kids and a baby. And then it's just her and her husband. So it's like, I don't know. As far as production value, the production seemed more effort was worked on for Nefta Football Club, but Neighbor's Window is the only one that's in English, and it's the only one that's American, so that's probably going to be the one that wins. But I just want to say it's not my favorite one. It's not my one to win, I should say. It is one of my favorites, because it did touch me and it was great. But even though the ending was a little bit predictable, it's about I don't want to spoil it, but it's about a couple looking through their neighbor's window. Something that I always do. Stay looking through it. It's just a New York thing. You've seen Friends. It's just a New York thing. You look to your neighbor's window. You just do that. You saw Friends. You saw Rare Window. You just do that. You look at people. So it resonated with me. I want Nefta Football Club to win, but I think Neighbor's Window will win because it's the American English one. And then I started watching documentary shorts, and I started with In the Absence, and I ended with that one because it was so sad, and I didn't want to continue it. I wept, to be honest, when I watched it. It's about the South Korean tragedy boat accident that happened in 2014, where a bunch of high school kids, hundreds of them, at least 300 or 350 of them, drowned to death because the Korean government didn't put in the effort needed to save their lives when they got the call that they were sinking. They took the time out to save the captain and a couple other authorities on the ship, but they didn't save the children. And the one thing they tell you is it's to save the children. We got to save the children. And they didn't save the children. And it's very sad. And it's a 30-minute short. I was on YouTube a couple times, a couple uploads. A few people have uploaded it on YouTube. And it's also subtitled, and it's very sad because they show the people who tried to rescue them after the fact, the civilians that tried to rescue them when the actual authorities didn't, who were supposed to, and it shows the parents, and everybody's just sad about it. And the reason why I knew about this already before I even watched this documentary short was, surprisingly, we're so surprised, because of BTS. BTS did a video dedicated to the tragedy for their video Spring Day that I saw early last year, because I became obsessed with BTS last year. So I knew about this tragedy from that because of them, because they referenced it in their video, and that had prompted me to research the tragedy. So that's how I knew about it going in, that as soon as the documentary started, that I knew what it was about and what was happening. But yeah, seeing this film has made it more clear, and I've learned more, and it's quite awful. It's quite awful what the government did, or more so what they didn't do, which was saving the children. And it was very sad. Like I said, I weeped. So yeah, that's the end of that week. That was the last thing I watched. It kind of shook me, and I didn't want to watch anything else for the rest of the night. And that was the end of my short film festival that took place on Friday 17th, and it was really nice. It was really nice. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of these videos that I've been doing, while I'm telling you everything that I'm watching, reading, listening to for the week instead of monthly. I'd rather just do them weekly. Let me know what you guys are watching, listening to, reading, what you would recommend me to read, listen to, watch, because I love taking recommendations. Even though I am far behind, I still haven't watched everything that I wanted to watch last year, and I still have so much I have to watch for the Oscars so I can predict properly. But I love information. Give me all the information you want to give me, okay? So I'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces, triple dub.